Hello everyone, this is Lauren and welcome to my first gameplay video for Lorcana on Pixelborn. Today I'm going to be playing the Amber Sapphire deck that I posted a deck tech for on Friday. If you missed it, I'll link it in the description below. And I've made a couple small changes. I cut one flounder, so only 7 goons, and in its place I'm playing one You Have Forgotten Me, just an inkable card that can be good against the Ruby Amethyst control deck late game. And to the 2 drops, I cut one Simba and one Phil to play 2 Grammatala. Just a little bit of diversification, and ramping into the 7s can be good. Well, with those changes out of the way, I'm going to jump into the first game. We're here for game 1 on the play with my Amber Sapphire mid-range controlling deck. And this hand, definitely going to send back part of your world and let it go and Maleficent. Just try to find some things to do on the earlier turns. We get back another bunch of late game cards. Okay, this will be fun. I'm going to start by inking this Stitch Carefree Surfer. We're a ways away from the 7-drop. And I'll pass the turn. My opponent inks Eye of the Fates, so we're probably against a Sapphire ramp deck. Well, I'm going to ink a Be Our Guest. And I'm just going to play out Grammatala. And pass. Sapphire Amethyst. Interesting. They also have a Grammatala. I am going to ink Robin Hood. I don't think he's that important for this matchup. I don't expect many evasive characters out of them. And I will play Ariel. Let's see what she finds. Be Our Guest. I've seen quite a few of those this game. Let's make sure Ariel's on top. And I'm going to sing Be Our Guest. If it'll let me. Yeah, sorry, I'm still figuring out the OBS settings and everything is running a little sluggish right now. Gonna get Hades, because Hades is the good late game card. But yeah, while I figure out OBS, I'm sorry if everything is a little jittery and a little sluggish. My opponent inks another Fishbone Quill. Or no, a Fishbone Quill. They inked Eye of the Fates before. Rafiki into my Grammatala. That's perfectly fine. That lets me ramp. And they quest with their Grammatala. So I think I'm going to let them ramp with Grammatala just so I can draw a card with Rapunzel. Into Stitch, we will ink Grammatala. And I'm going to keep this Stitch for ink, and I'll pass the turn. They can trade their Rafiki for my Ariel if they want, which they probably should. Ariel's a scary card. Yep, that's what they do. And let's see what they have on 4 or 5. Oh, so we're playing against an item deck, not a ramp deck. This will be interesting. I've never played against this before. I'm just going to go on the offensive. I'm going to Quest of Rapunzel, play a Maleficent, ink a Stitch, and pass the turn. This lets me threaten to quest for 5 next turn. Well, my opponent needs to do a lot to get things going. They sing with their Ariel, which means if they play an item, yep, they get to ready her. And they sing another Friends on the Other Side. Okay. They are definitely bringing in the cards, but we've got an aggressive board right now, so we'll see what they can do. I have the Fates to ready Ariel, but do nothing else with her. So I'm just going to start by questing for 5. I'm going to be our guest, see what's on top. Grab a Hades. And then I'll play Mickey to make sure that I can Hades next turn if I need to. And we'll see what they can do. I have the Fates plus Ariel. Could get scary. That's just a lot to quest for if they can string together some items. What do they do on 7? Do they have a Hades of their own? Yep, they have a Hades of their own. They send my Maleficent to the Inkwell, and then they quest for 2 if they're Ariel. But I'm still pretty far ahead. I can play my Hades to send their Hades to the Inkwell. Then I can quest for 2 with Rapunzel. And let me take a look at my discard pile real quick. I don't really need to part of your world back, Ariel, so I'll just quest for 1 with this Mickey. And pass. Elsa's good. They exert down my Hades and my Rapunzel, which means it's going to be hard for me to do much next turn. I'll start with an Ariel. We'll see if we can find a Let It Go. There it is. Grab the Let It Go. These things are in a fine order. And I will let it go the Elsa. I'm still just not that scared of Ariel. Maybe I should be, but Elsa I know is scary. And then we can quest with Mickey and pass. So we have 6 on board, which would put us to 17. And they're going to continue using Ursula's Cauldron. Let's see if they have another Elsa. Nope, another Hades, which will probably send my Hades to the Inkwell. And their Ariel is getting in and banishing my Mickey. Fishbone Quill to ready Ariel. So she can quest for 2. Okay, I'm still feeling alright. It's still just Ariel and Mickey now. I'm gonna ink Hakuna Matata because that's what that card's job is. I'm gonna quest with Rapunzel. If I quest with Ariel, they can just banish her with Hades, so I might as well trade with Ariel. And then I'll play a Maleficent. And I will Hades back in Ariel. Just give me a shot at Let It Go again if I need it. They look with Cauldron. They play a mirror. And draw a card. They found another Ariel. Okay. And And they're going to quest for 3 with their Hades, it looks like. Up to 10. And they Fishbone Quill their last card. There's Let It Go. So I am just going to play Let It Go, not sing it. Send Hades to the Inkwell. Quest for 6. Up to 19. Play an Ariel. Find nothing. Put the Hades on top in case we get there, but I don't think we will. And I'll pass the turn. Alright, they need to either banish all of my characters or find a way to win. Let's see what they can do. They have 1 draw off Magic Mirror. I think it's going to be pretty hard for them to gain 10 lore with this Ariel. But they're going to try. Start by giving her +1, up to 12. They can go up to 14. No, they just concede. Alright, that's game 1. I'll see you for game 2. Time for game 2, and we're on the play. Let's look at this hand. There's a lot of 5-drops. I'm just going to get rid of all of the 5-drops. I'll keep Ariel, Be Our Guest, and Mickey Mouse. Hope to find some more low drops. There's a Simba, that's what I wanted. Lots of Mickeys. Okay, I'm going to start by inking Be Our Guest. It's the most replaceable card. And I'll pass. Let's see what our opponent's on. Hakuna Matata, so they're also an Ariel deck, and they have a Stitch. Stitch 7 is not what we need right now, so I'm going to ink it. And I'll play Simba, but I won't bodyguard because there's no point. Pass. Let's see if we can find out what their second color is. Oh, it's a mirror. They're also on Amber Sapphire. They have some cards that we don't have, but it'll be interesting to see. I am going to ink this Ariel, as sad as it makes me. I think this Rapunzel will be good for cards. So, let's play the Mickey and ramp up some ink. And then quest with Simba, and hopefully Rapunzel next turn. What does my opponent have for me on turn 3? They're going to ink a Robin Hood, play another Stitch. So with Stitches and Auroras, this is probably a Rockstar Stitch deck. And nothing. So we can't Rapunzel this turn for value. So I guess we'll just keep questing. I will play a Mickey. And I will ink Simba. And pass the turn. We have a huge ink advantage, but they have more cards in hand, and I'm scared of what a Rockstar Stitch will do with us without any removal. Okay, so now they want to trade off. Both their Stitches into my Simba. It's a 2-for-1, I'll take it. Aurora into Mickey. Interesting. That just lets me Rapunzel next turn. Oh, they wanted to Rapunzel themselves. Okay. But it's not going to go well for them because my Rapunzel's going to draw more cards. And there's the removal that I was worried about. Okay, let's ink this Maleficent. Play yet another Mickey. And let's banish this Aurora by challenging with both of our Mickeys. And I'll pass. They can banish one of our Mickeys of Rapunzel if they want to. I'm okay with that. And that's what they do decide to do. And they play a Maleficent. Okay. How scared am I of Maleficent? And what's in here? Not much in there. Not much in the discard pile. I am just going to quest for 4. And I am going to Hades the Maleficent. It quests for 3. It puts the race in their advantage. Sending it to the Inkwell is for the best. We have an advantage on the board. We have an advantage on lore. But they have more cards than us. So we'll see. Oh, and a Rapunzel's going to ensure that they have even more cards. This will turn on our Robin Hood, though, and let it draw a card next turn. So I'm going to start with that. Robin Hood to draw a card. A Maleficent of my own. Then I'm just gonna start racing. I can quest for 5. And I'm gonna ink one of these Maleficents. Something this deck really wants to do is get to 11 ink. That way they can play a Hades 4, get back a Hades 7, and play the Hades 7 all in the same turn. So if it looks like I'm inking high value cards at a point when I might not need to, that's why I'm doing it. But in the meantime, we have 7 lore on board. We're at 12. They're at 0. Oh, there's their own Hades 7 to deal with Robin Hood. And they're going to quest for 4, it looks like. I'm feeling pretty far ahead. I'm going to quest for my 5. Up to 17. And then nothing in the discard pile I want, so I'm just going to play Maleficent. And ink the Stitch. And now they have to deal with my Maleficent as well as 2 of my other 3 characters. And they can't, so that's a win. I'll be back for Game 3. Game 3, we're on the draw this time. This hand is pretty good. It's got some 2-drops, it's got a 3-drop, a 4-drop. I'm looking at these 2 5-drops. Especially on the draw, I would really like a 1-drop, so I'm going to send both of these back and hope to find one. Didn't find one, but that's okay. We'll see what we're up against. Amber. Amber what? All we know is Amber so far. I am going to start by inking will be our guest. And I'll pass. At least this wasn't a Lilo. If it's a Lilo, it can get pretty dangerous. They quest up to 1, and they don't have a 2-drop. That's good. I was worried about a Simba. I am going to ink this Robin Hood, because I don't think we're playing against an evasive deck. Though I could be wrong. This could be Amber Emerald, at which point I would have wished I had that. But for now, I'm just going to play a Simba. I'm not going to bodyguard him, and I'll pass the turn. Another Amber Sapphire deck. Let's see if we can continue to have the best Amber Sapphire deck. They played a Phil, which is the reason I run Phil, and the reason I assume they do too, is because it's a great answer to Simba. So we're not going to be questing with Simba this turn. I don't want to trade it for a Phil. I'm going to ink my own Phil. And do I want to play Ariel? I don't have a good 5-drop, just to let it go. So I'm going to play Ariel. If I had like a Maleficent in hand, I would have played Mickey. And I have a part of your world already, so let's get the second Let It Go. And Robin Hood into Ariel into part of our world is fine. And from here, I'll pass. They ink a Phil and play a Belle. Okay. Belle is a little scary. They ink Rapunzel. She won't be turned on for a couple turns yet, so I'm not going to spend a Let It Go on her this early. But I am going to play a Mickey. Try to get that ink advantage. And I will ink Rapunzel. We're getting close to this Stitch, and I would like to have access to it. So what happens if I quest? If I quest, they can send Phil into Simba, Belle and Stitch into Ariel, at which point I could send Mickey into Belle, but that wouldn't trade. I'm just going to pass. I have answers to Belle, so given that, I assume the late game will favor me. Aurora is unfortunate. That makes my Let It Goes worse. I'm gonna pretty much have to sing one this turn to send Aurora to the Inkwell. No characters in my discard pile, so with Ariel tapped, I definitely want to quest with Simba, just so they can't get the easy trade on Ariel. I'm going to ink this Flounder, if it'll let me. It being slow, like I said, it's not a problem with Pixelborn. It's a problem with my OBS, and I need to figure that out. But for now, this is the best that I could do. I'm going to quest with Mickey. And I'll pass. If we still have 2 characters next turn, I will play the Stitch. If not, we can start Hades returning some characters. Phil into Simba, that was expected. They are going to send Belle and Stitch into Ariel. Unless this was just a Rapunzel play. Might have just been a Rapunzel play. But they are going to send Stitch in. Okay. That turns off our Stitch Carefree Surfer, but that's alright. We've turned on... We have 6... So, I'm not going to Hades. I am going to cast part of your world. Get back Ariel. Cast Ariel. She'll find... Beergus is the better card, but I literally just want ink, so I'll take Hakuna Matata, put Hades on top. I'll ink Hakuna Matata. And if they want to spend next turn challenging my Mickey with both of their characters and not questing, that's fine with me, so I will quest. Looks like that's what they're gonna do. Another Rapunzel is unfortunate. They're up to 8 ink. And another bell. Okay. It is going to be time to start dealing with some of these bells. I'm going to sing Let It Go. And send the fresh bell to the inkwell. I'm going to Hades back the Mickey Mouse and Mickey Mouse up to 8 ink. Because I don't think I'll be untapping or readying with this Ariel. But hopefully having these two will let me stitch at least. Pass the turn. They have their own Mickey. Which does turn on their bell. So maybe I can't stitch next turn. I might have to let it go the bell. Interesting, they didn't challenge my Ariel. Okay, so this lets me... Hades Rapunzel, Ariel Rapunzel. Play my own Rapunzel. Heal Ariel. Hope to find something inkable. Perfect. Ink the Grammatala. Let it go the bell. And quest for 1. Rapunzel banishes my Hades. That's just fine. They are gonna Hades back a Rapunzel. Okay. So then they can Rapunzel their Rapunzel. We do have very similar decks. They just have Belle, whereas I have... I'm not sure what the difference is, but I'm not sure that I like Belle, though it is a must-answer threat when you get going. They're gonna Inka Let It Go. Oof, you have forgotten me. That's rough. I feel like I should be playing a second You Have Forgotten Me. I might make that change after this game. Well, turnabout is fair play. I will cast my own You Have Forgotten Me. If it lets me. It won't let me cast You Have Forgotten Me. And it's got the outline like it can only be inked. I don't know what's going on. Well, if it won't let me... Let's see, they have 6 on board. And the fact that it won't let me play This You Have Forgotten Me is very unfortunate. I'm all flustered because of it. Each opponent chooses and discards 2 cards. They have 3 cards. Why can't I play this? I guess I'm just gonna quest, but that is upsetting. I don't think I'm in a good position either way, but the fact that it won't let me play my card is just upsetting. This looks like my deck, but with bells. I want to know what they cut. Maybe Maleficent? Maybe Belle is better than Maleficent. But I believe this game is over, and I don't think being able to cast You Have Forgotten Me would have made the difference, but it's definitely frustrating that I couldn't. Yeah, they just have too much on board, and this Mickey isn't going to do it. So I'm going to concede. Alright, and I will go back to the deck, and let's talk about it. Let's talk about how things went. So here's the deck again, and things went pretty well. I have some thoughts on this. I am just not impressed with Grammatala. I'm gonna cut Grammatala. I think I definitely want the 4th fill back, just as another answer to Simba. It didn't come up in these games, but it comes up enough that I think having the 4th fill is important. I want to play a second You Have Forgotten Me, though I'm hesitant because it seems bugged. But I'm going to try putting a second one in. And the only other thing I'm wondering is these Robin Hoods. They're there to deal with evasives, but I do have 4 Hades and 4 Let It Goes, and the ability to recur these Hades to deal with evasives. I wonder if this Robin Hood is actually that important. And same with the Maleficent. I wonder how important she is. At a 3/6 that quests for 3, she's just a huge body for 5. But she doesn't advance the game plan outside of that. Same with Robin Hood. You don't often draw a card off of Robin Hood because this deck is so good at having cards in its hand. I wonder, are there good 4-drops that I'm missing? Or something that I could do to up the song count for Ariel is I could play 2 1-jump aheads. If I played 2 1-jump aheads over the Robin Hoods, that might be worth trying. I don't know. I'm going to keep thinking about this. I will have more gameplay up later this week. But for now, this is where I'm stopping. In future days, I will try to have 5 games up for gameplay, but it took me so long to get OBS to even behave as well as it did that I just didn't have time today. But a 2-1 record, only losing to the Mirror, is a good place to start. I'm very happy with this deck. I'm going to keep tweaking the numbers and figuring out exactly what I want the perfect 60 to be, but I do think, you know, as little Sapphire has been seen playing the big tournaments, I think this is a good place to be. With that, I'll be posting new videos every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Thanks for watching.